Hello and welcome to the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. We're filming this live during our social media superhero boot camp. And I wanted to take an opportunity. Normally, we film this on our Tech Pixies page, but I've changed it up a little bit today and I'm doing it into our superhero boot camp because I know a lot of women who will be inspired by listening to Gloria's story. So Gloria, you were a Tech Pixie in effectively our social media superhero boot camp, which was running in April of last year, so 2020, right when the lockdown, the very first lockdown hit. And so you know what it's like to be on the boot camp. You know what it's like to be, asked to do your Canva vision board and asked to do your first live. You know how that made you feel. And then you went on to our 90-day transformational program, and now you are pretty much at your year. You're graduating. We had cohort 21 was a funny one because you guys kind of graduated 3 months later, and then now you're like officially finishing up with your full year because we give you a whole year's access to the program, not just 3 months. Although we say you can complete the program in 3 months. So tell your story a little bit to people who don't know it, and how what you were doing before you came to the boot camp, and then what made you make the decision to join the 90-day transformational program. And then let's talk about your journey since then.
I was teaching in gyms, in quite a few gyms in London and in Cambridgeshire. And obviously then lockdown hit. And because I've been going through a divorce, I had given up my job during my marriage, which I would always say don't really do that. But I had, because I was going to be looked after. And then I just had my teaching as a little kind of side and part-time job. So that's all I had before lockdown, was my part-time teaching. So it wasn't a huge income. It was under £1,000 a month, but it was still keeping me, in clothes and food. And I moved in with my mum. God bless my mum. So at the beginning of lockdown, when the teaching was stopped in the gym, that was my entire income. So it was a little bit of a shock. And yes, I had done my self-assessment, so I could actually claim from the HMRC, but it's a small amount compared to what you've been earning. So I was thinking, I need to do something. So I needed to go online, and I'd thought about it previously, but I had no idea how to do it. So then the Tech Pixies thing came up on my Facebook. And I've got to be honest, usually I take no notice of Facebook ads whatsoever. But there was just something, because it was all women. They were all smiling. It made me click in. And then when I joined the boot camp, from the first moment, I just loved it. And I just connected to you because you were just so enthusiastic. You actually spoke to us personally, and we could actually speak back, because I had signed up onto a couple of other free courses, and they were terrible, to be honest, because there was just no connection. And that's what I needed at the time. It was lockdown, you're isolated, you just needed someone that you could connect to and learn from. And I just found from the first minute that I could learn something, and there was an awful lot to learn, I have to say. I thought I was kind of okay with social media, and after I'd done the quiz, I was like, okay, so you're not that great at social media. You can post a couple of pictures, the funny cat videos, but there is just so much to learn. And as soon as you started talking about the sunflowers, and I was like, okay, I've got a seed. I've just got to grow from there. And so when it came to the end of the 4 weeks, I was like, I really, really want to do this. So I did.
Well, we are so delighted that you did. You've been a wonderful addition to our program.
Thank you.
And I know it's daunting to learn that much that quickly in that week, but it also opens up the possibility that, hey, I can learn quickly and I can learn something new in a short period of time. What could I do in a 90-day period of time? So talk about the 90-day transformational program in terms of the transformation you went through on it, and how you've changed what you're doing on social media and what that's become.
So I had never done a live. And so when you do a 1 minute live, everyone is like, oh my goodness, that a 1 minute sounds so long, and it feels so long. And I did mine in my pink house coat, because I thought, right, I'm just going to get it done after one of the calls. I'm just going to get it done. And everyone loved the pink house coat, and it got so many good comments that it really boosts you, and you feel, do you know what, that minute took no time at all, and it's not that difficult. And so then you go on, you do the course, and you just grow. And you talked about the Canva vision board, and I've always been really bad at doing vision boards, and I've never actually done one. But then when you introduced us to Canva, I was like, oh, I love Canva. This is just amazing. You can just put things together. But I still found it difficult, because even though I had looked back at my future self, I was thinking, what shall I put on my vision board? And I had to go for a personal one to start off with, because looking at business was really difficult. So I started with a personal one, looking back at my future self, and I could see that as clear as day. So the colors were very different. It's not my branded colors. And then eventually throughout the course, I grew into how I could build my Canva vision board with my branded colors. And as everyone knows, they're very bright. There's got to be bright pink. And so that was totally different, but it helped me get to that point where I could see what I wanted to do for my business and how I could bring it online. So that's where I kind of am now, where I've brought classes online, and I made a huge mistake in the first lockdown doing it for free for 3 months or so. And it hurt me. Obviously, it hurt me financially, but it made me feel good that I was giving something away for free, but it was just too much. And then it just came back and smacked me in the face and said, come on, you're worth more than free. And when you're in the group, the ladies build you up, and they confirm that you are worth more than zero. So that's where the course has really helped me grow, not only with the technology part of it, which is a huge part of it, but feeling that you are worth more than zero, especially as a woman, because I gave up a job to be zero. Why did I do that? You know, and now I'm on my own, gone through a divorce, so I'm at zero. I have to start again. And the course has really, the ladies, I can't emphasize how fantastic the ladies are. I mean, they're virtual friends. We haven't even met. Most of us have not met. I've met a few of the ladies, and it's been really nice to actually get together in between the lockdowns with a few of them. But you feel like you've known these people for a long time, because you have so much in common. And then that small commonality grows into something really amazing. And the community has really helped during lockdown to make you feel better as a person, but better as a business person, and the possibilities really open up for you when you've done the course. So yeah.
So what do you think it was a huge part of your transition from, I'm going to give this away for free, to no, I am worth charging for this? And I know there was there's a journey there, right? And so tell us a little bit more about that journey. How did you get the courage to start charging for what you do? How did you get the courage to come up with the price point? And how did you get the courage to ask people to join your fitness membership so that they would actually start paying you?
I mean, to be honest, I started off in the kind of the easy way, you know, with people that already knew me. And you know, a few of those were willing to pay more than maybe they would have done before, because they had a gym membership. Before, they had a gym membership, and I'd be there for free in that case. But now I'm asking them to pay me personally, and it all seemed a little bit difficult, because this is going to sound really, really silly, but we had the free classes, and then I put a price of £1.50. Nobody paid the £1.50, absolutely nobody. So I thought, okay, so let's put 4 classes which are chargeable and 1 class which is donation. Nobody made a donation, but they still all booked onto that class in particular and didn't make a donation. And then I started thinking, do you know what? I've been doing this course. I'm worth more than £1.50. And I'm just going to say, look, if even now the price could probably go up, but I want to give a good deal. So if I say £6 for a class, if you don't want to pay the £6, don't come. And that's what you help me with. And I call you my inbox nudger, because you're going, So if you're not willing to pay for it, then don't come. And then if it's outside of my group, because I want to give something that is really achievable and affordable, and I'm looking at what people would pay for gyms as well. So there is a cutoff really. So what I can provide for a certain price, I'm willing to do that. But outside of that, if someone wanted me to do like a one-to-one class or teach for their group, then my voice came out and I went £50. It's £50 an hour. Now, I've done that recently. I can tell you I've done that recently, and someone has told me that's not enough.
Wow.
So I'm just waiting for them to come back to me. I've said that to somebody. They've said, how much do you charge for half an hour? So I said, well, £25. And she said, well, that's not enough. I'm going to tell them it's more. So I'm just waiting for that to come back. So it just shows you that if, you know, they want you, this is a corporation that are looking to pay for me to come and teach for them online. But my £6 an hour, I'm happy with that because I'm giving a few classes a week. It helps people that can't get to the gym. They come into a little community. But I've actually found the voice to say, if you don't want to pay for a whole month, then you have to pay a little bit more for an individual class. If you want me outside of the group, then you're going to have to pay more than you'd even pay for a monthly group.
Yeah, that's important to understand that it's the ascension model, right? So if someone just wants to dip in and out at their own leisure, they're going to pay a price that's different than someone who's paying a membership. And then if someone wants one-on-one attention, they have to pay more because that's, you could be serving a group of people at the same time. So that's really interesting. Yeah, Michelle just said, I realized that even at £60 an hour, that's only £1 a minute. Yeah, and that's so true. It's so true. And we don't hesitate. Like if my toilet is blocked, I don't hesitate to pay a plumber 65 to 85 pounds at whatever time it is a day to come and do a 5-minute job to fix it because I want to use my toilet, right? Yeah. And when we're not understanding that we use other people's services all the time and we pay the price that they ask us because that solves the problem that we're trying to solve, it's really important to understand that. And it's interesting. I mean, there's in the online coaching world, especially for people who've done very well, the price for coaching is astronomical. To get someone one-on-one is almost impossible, but the price that you would pay is very high, like £2,000 for an hour kind of high. And it's so true. But what's important is they know their value. They know that the wisdom that they've got, that the experience that they've got, that that they can actually help. And that's why they can charge that much. It's just like a lawyer, and other people that you go to work with, they know what they're doing and they feel confident in that. Let's talk about some of the hurdles that you had to overcome though, because obviously the first hurdle was knowing your worth and starting to charge for your individual courses, your monthly membership, and your one-on-ones, and really putting a price on that made sense for you as well as for the people. What about some of the things that slowed you down from moving on to the membership sooner? And I'm only saying this because I know we have a very long history of direct messages where it's like, so have you got your sales page up yet? Have you figured out your financial plan yet? So let's talk about that. Were they actual technical blocks or were they more a mental block on different things?
I think it's both. So once you believe you're kind of worth a little bit more, it's like, oh, but what if no one else thinks you're worth that? And then you've got this fear just comes over you. And I know you felt this fear as well. What if no one actually cares? What if no one wants to join my group? What if no one wants to do Zumba on a Thursday? What if I've chosen the wrong days? What if the class is the wrong length? What if my lipstick's the wrong color? Everything. You just go, you just start to kind of pick away at all the things you've just built up to say you're worth that. And then it just stops you from moving forward. So that obstacle is just a real smack in the face. And then you need someone in your ear going, have you done that? Have you thought about that? So for me, I mean, I had started putting the group together because I wanted to offer a lot, I guess. It's probably too much, but I wanted to offer how-tos, how to do certain moves, how to do Zumba moves, because people are always asking me, can you slow it down? But in a class, it's not like that. You just go with the flow and you pick it up. So I wanted to put a few bits in, I wanted to add a little bit of my own kind of self, a little bit of nutrition, a little bit of kind of positivity. So it all adds up to quite a lot of background before because you can't just open the group and have nothing in it. So that was my take. So I've got to do all this stuff before I start. And you just said to me, well, just start. So I did, but I did already have quite a lot of things. And thank goodness I'd learned how to use Canva. Is my absolute godsend, because I set up all my templates, and then pre-scheduling has become something that I do once a month, which I never did before. So that is really great as well.
Yeah, you posted in the group recently. So in our 90-day transformational group, which everyone who joins the program gets to stay in even after they finish their year, we do every Friday, we do a kind of a wins and self-promotion. And you had posted in there that you had pre-scheduled 40 posts. You were good to go for the month of April. Just had to
tweak it. Actually 55 I'd done.
Wow.
I do try and do one thing a day, even if it's just a positive quote. So I've basically got, it's not a very good planner. It's one that I've drawn myself. It's got all the colors on, so I know what I'm doing for each day for the whole month. So I can just set it up. And then if there's any days that I can go in and add something ad hoc if I need to. So if I've made a mistake, which is quite often, so I put an ad hoc mistake one in there that I couldn't post my video or something like that. So I'm quite honest about the failures as well, because you know, someone did say to me, do you think that everything you do is too perfect? And that puts people off. And I don't know whether it does, but I do want it to be the best it can possibly be. And that was probably another block, is I was thinking, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I need to change that. And it's not good enough. But you do have to kind of fall into things, fall over things, and just go with it. And just, put your hands up, go, do you know what? I spelt that wrong, or I put in the wrong time, or I put in the wrong link. And you know exactly how I feel. Yeah.
I've had those problems too,
Yeah.
and it's really important that you just acknowledge it and just, kind of say, hey, there was a mistake, and move on. And it's interesting. We've had in the last intake that we had for the boot camp that led into the 90-day transformational program, we had a lot of mistakes on the email. We changed email teams kind of like one day before the launch and of the program. And it was really interesting because we made a bunch of mistakes just because it was a whole new team and the timing was, not great. And anyway, some people handled it really well and some people didn't. And we had people writing back going, I would never work with you. You're so disorganized. And it's like, well, we don't want you to work with us because we're human, right? Humans make mistakes. And, if you think we have to be perfect, then we're definitely not the right place for you. But I think making mistakes is really important. I also, it's really interesting, the pre-scheduling thing, because a lot of people, when they come into our program, they don't know anything about pre-scheduling. And they're not up to speed on how important that is. And actually what it does is it gives you time back as the business owner or as the person who works in the marketing department for a company. It gives you time back to do other things so that you're not always on social media. You're not always creating. You get to choose and you get to be in control of the time that you spend on social and the time that you don't spend on social. So the pre-scheduling concept just means, you've got a routine and you can just stick to that routine. You know what days you got to show up live. You know what you do. So tell us about your membership. Tell us what it entails, and tell us what's working and what's not working and what you're going to be doing in the future.
So it's simmering, should we say? So I've started. I've got people that have come back for 3 months, so they're resubscribing, which is always nice to know. I've had to change times of classes. I've taken a class off. I thought that people would like to do a class on a Saturday, but it turned out nobody turned up on a Saturday. I'd be there on my own and I'd wait 15 minutes and then I'd just put a thing in saying class cancelled. But you see, I thought people, I always thought that in the week was more difficult, but it turns out that it's the other way around. People want the weekend for themselves. So I've actually got one less class than I had when I started because it wasn't working. So that's fine. No one has actually said, hold on a minute, we're getting one less class, because there's a lot of pre-recorded classes in there and you can just do them when you want to. So I think that works, that you can change the classes around pretty easily. The pre-recorded definitely works because people can go back and you can do your sun breath.
I'm definitely a pre-record check because it doesn't work. The times don't work for me, but what does work for me is, choosing when I want to do it. So I can,
Yeah.
Do it with my daughter, or I can, do it first thing in the morning, so it makes a big difference.
And there's a good amount of pre-recorded in there now, because I've recorded some of the live classes and put them in. I've done a Zumba class, which is to unlicensed music, so that I could record that and put that in, so you can actually do a class. And so I think that really works. And it did scare me when they changed units to guides, because I thought I'd lost absolutely everything. And I was thinking, oh my God, will that work? And I was having a good old panic. But yeah, so it's great that you can have units where people can go and just have a look around. And the free recipe book was good. I don't know if anyone ever uses it, but I use that in my posts as well. So I've got a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you started posting some of those recipes back, kind of bringing it back to the surface.
Yeah, so that people can actually know there's another 3 books actually in the group that you can get for free. So you can actually go and have a look at those. So yes, I just use some of those because they're nice pictures, they're nice recipes, and it actually just reminds people, oh yeah, I might make that today or not. I think
you should do a recipe challenge where we all have to like make it and put pictures of it in the group.
That's in the cards as well. I've got a few things in the cards. I had an idea of having like a coffee morning where everyone just comes in, bake the cake that you want to bake your own cake or bake your own snack or whatever. Because I really enjoyed doing the falafels with the Syrian late sisters. I mean, I made my own falafels and I was really chuffed with myself, to be honest. So I think it's a good idea if I put something like that in the group. So what I do need to do is more lives, but it's just fitting it in with my office job and my teaching and the group. So I do find it quite hard to juggle everything, and I can really see why people need a social media manager. But it's just something I need to do by myself at the moment. So I think most of the group works. I mean, maybe you can tell me otherwise.
It works for me. I mean, I'm kind of like, I've got to, I got to get a couple sessions in every month just to make sure that I'm getting my value, that in terms of you're providing it, I've actually got to take it up. Right. And that's the other thing, is how your members actually take it up. And it's interesting, the barriers that people have to even fitness. Right. So, it's about also prioritizing yourself and saying, okay, actually this half hour of, legs, bums, tums, or this half hour of, yoga is more important to me than, work right now. And I need to find that balance. And I think, it's interesting. A lot of people I know who are very successful, they say there really is no balance. It's actually just about harmonizing them, so that you can kind of do them in harmony. And interestingly enough, when we did the spring festival, and Gloria was the opening act of our spring festival. So every day, this is a great thing to do if you run a charity, or even if you run an organization that's got a community. We did a 5-day festival. So and it was on Facebook in a private group, and every single day for half an hour, we had somebody else coming in to do something different. So we had the Syrian sisters come and teach us how to make falafels. We had Gloria coming in to do a Zumba dance party. We had a woman come in, Rosalind. She came and educated us on female composers in opera, and then she actually sang opera to us. We had another woman, another Rosalind, who gave us a walking tour of the great women of London, the statues, so it was very, very interesting, and it was very short and sweet, just a half an hour every day of different people. But I have to say, yours was great. It just kind of like, I stood up from my desk and I was like doing Zumba in the middle of the day, and I was so energized. Yeah. And you can see how clunky I was, but I was so energized. Like, it really changed just standing up and doing that and just getting music going. And, I can see how powerful it is and how important it is to do. And I can see how important it is to do in the middle of a stressful day, or, to break up a day.
I was surprised so many people turned up at 12 o'clock on a Monday. I was surprised, because you kind of think that that's not really a good time, but it was just really lovely to see everybody enjoying themselves. And that is the whole thing. It brings your endorphins up. It brings your hormone level up, so that and your serotonin, so that it's your happy hormones. And that's what dancing does. Yoga is kind of a little bit more, obviously, meditative, but it's the dancing actually makes you feel young. It makes you feel happy. And so then it makes you feel energized. So it's, it's a very clever concept, Zumba, because everyone thinks, oh, I can't do Zumba, but it's not about being able to dance brilliantly. It's just about moving and enjoying, and smiling is the most important thing. And I smile like a Cheshire cat to some of these tracks. I just can't help. I just can't help.
You can't. It's so important. I mean, it's so true. So tell us now, what I love about what you did was when you did finally get your membership up and you had paying customers, you then were earning more than the monthly course fee. So you were able to, you're actually not only covering the course fee that you invested in, but you've actually got a little bit more. But
yeah,
tell us about the future plans. How are you going to grow this membership? Because you've got a lovely group of ladies in there, and there's real opportunity to grow that. So tell us about that.
So obviously I've been speaking to some of the other lovely tech pixies because they're always there to help bring you up. So I've spoken to the lovely Paula about ClickFunnels, and literally my head just went. So yes, I'm trying to sort out something to do with the ClickFunnel. I don't completely understand it. I'm going to be honest. I don't completely understand it, but Paula's amazing. But
Paula understands, so that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, she definitely understands.
Well, she won a competition that they run, which is just incredible. I think that's really exciting. To learn how to create a sales funnel. That's effectively what you're doing. So you've tested the concept. You've done it organically. Are you at 14 members now?
I have a couple. So Paula is obviously in there because I let her in there to have a look at the group to see what she thought. So she thinks it's great. So that's always nice to hear. And my mum's.
Yeah, and your mom. Yeah. Well, anyway, the point is, let's say you've got like 14 members or so in the group now, but what you've done is you've tested the concept, and that's what's really important. I think for people who are, okay, I want it to be bigger. I've got a bigger vision. I want to have more people in. You got to get your first few people in, right?
Yeah.
You got to get the first few people to say yes. And tell us what it felt like when the first person who signed up for your membership signed up. What did that feel like?
It was just so cool. I was like, oh my God, I've got gotten actually paid to come. And it was just really, really cool. And it was a pixie. So that was kind of double cool as well, because these are really talented and knowledgeable women. So they knew that they were obviously going to get something that was a little bit nice. And they've come back. So that's even better. But it just made me go, I said to my mum, oh, I've got one. And it was it really made me happy. And it was just one.
And what happened when you got 10? I still feel that now.
I'm like, oh my God, they resubscribed.
What happened when you hit 10? What was that like?
I was like, that was my goal. And I thought, you know what? I'd just be happy with 10 people. And I actually hit that. And I was thinking, do you know what? When you put it out there and it comes back, really, you should be putting out there more. You should be saying, I'm looking for 20. And that is, I'm looking too small. I'm still looking too small. I need to look bigger.
But I love that you said that, because so many people, they go through that. So, getting your first customer is very, very exciting. Getting your first 10 customers, and this is repeatable business too. This isn't just like 10 customers and you got to go find 10 more. This is 10 customers that come back month after month after month, and then you start going towards 11 and 12 and 13 and 14. And we have another student in our group, Carrie. She's from Wales. She's a maths teacher, and she helps. She works with children who have particularly tricky, when it comes to math, they're a bit trickier to teach and to help. And she's come up with this methodology that helps them. And her goal, very similar to yours, was I want one, because hers is repeatable as well, because the students she works with every single week. So her goal was to have 1 or 5. I was looking at her vision board the other day. It was to have 5 students, or 5, to work with 5 students. And then she came on to one of our calls and she said, I just hit my 21st student. And she's like, I don't actually have time to do any more students. Like and she's like, she's got a wait list now. Right. And so, I think it is really important, because now she's got to think, well, how do I serve hundreds of children who need me without, how do I change that? So now she's looking at how she does that. But it's really interesting when you set a goal and then you achieve the goal you kind of go, oh, well, then I probably should have, thought bigger, or I could think bigger, or what do I think now? And there's a lot of questions that come up when you set a goal and then you meet the goal. And a lot of people struggle to meet the goal, right? So, it's also on the other hand, when you do meet a goal, sometimes having what feels like a small goal is really important, because if you can achieve that, then it's much easier to then think bigger, and I always tell people in the early days of Tech Pixies, I didn't have a goal to help 1,000 women return to work, change careers, or start a business, through our 90-day transformational program. I had a goal of helping 12 women go back to work. That was the goal, right? We accomplished that goal, and it was like, okay, let's help another 12 women, right? And it took me a long time to think, well, maybe we could help more than 12 women at a time, And so it was when I realized I could only be in one city at the same time. So and I couldn't be in two cities at the same time. But I think it's we evolve, right? We evolve. And, the goal that I had after the first 12 women was 100 women. That was the goal. And then after 100 women was 1,000 women, right? And we're still working on that one. We've actually helped. That's the funny irony here is, I said, I want to help 1,000 women. And actually we've just in that April cohort last year alone, we had 1,000 women in the free training. And it was like, oh, wait, hold on. I meant to say, I want to help 1,000 women who are paying,
Yeah.
Back when we were doing things for free. And of course, now we are doing, we have the boot camp is a paid program now. And so women who go through that are paying, and that is amazing. And they are getting results, which is also absolutely wonderful. And we have helped thousands of women get started on that journey. And that's really exciting to me. But I still know, I've got a bottle of champagne in the fridge that says 1,000, women on our 90-day transformational program, because that is my goal. And once we hit 1,000, then I'll set a new goal. But I think it's important to then also celebrate along the way. So I love that you are bringing on another Tech Pixie to help you work on the sales funnel and help you get that in front of more people and help you, move more people into your program, because your program is really amazing. And, what you offer is it's a piece of, it's a piece of life. Like it's literally giving people their life, giving people extra years on their life because of the youthfulness that it brings to it. So I think that's so important.
The gloriousness of it. You need to feel the glory. So the other thing I meant to mention that I am going to do is obviously tomorrow, the Facebook ads workshop. So I'm going to look into that as well, because I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Facebook ads. So there's obviously something in it that I didn't see before, because because when they come up and you go, oh, that's a Facebook ad. So I have to change my view on that, and I need to look into that too. And I have done a Facebook ad, but I did it by accident because I pressed something. I ended up promoting something I didn't really want to promote. So I really need to know what I'm doing.
Well, that's where the power of organic social media. Like once you know how to do organic social media, then you can take your best stuff and you can get it in front of more people. And that's where having a sales funnel is really, really important. And, that's the next level. But you can't, it's so important people understand this. You can't start doing Facebook ads. You can't start doing sales funnels if you don't know the fundamentals. You can't build, you don't have the courage to build a website that charges a monthly membership fee if you don't have the fundamentals, right? And that's what I think is so important to understand, is that the fundamentals are, it's like having a concrete foundation in a house before you build the house, right? It's like, I always say, it's like building a house on rock and not building a house on sand. It's that idea that if you have the foundations and the community support, I think people underestimate, there's a lot of self-paced courses out there that you can do. But if you don't have the community support and you don't have the coaching when you need it to get you over any of those barriers or hurdles that might hold you back, that's where the process goes much, much, much slower. So by having a supportive environment, by having step-by-step help, and by, being surrounded by people that want to see you succeed and are pinging you to say, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? That's what moves you forwards. And then being in a community where everyone's got their strengths, and different people have, different people specialize in websites, different people specialize in graphics, different people specialize in, funnels, and everyone can pitch in where is needed to help you move forwards. And it's very exciting to watch. that unfold. But I think having that support really, really matters, and that community really matters. And, you know, you could do it on your own. Like, I guess I would
don't think you could. I don't think you could do it on your own.
Tell me where you think your life would be now. We know what it's like now, but where would it, if you didn't do the 90-day transformational program, just where do you think, how would it be
personally, I'd just be in the same place, just posting a couple of pictures here and there. I was really bad. I was really bad at, you know, doing it consistently. That was my biggest problem, that I was not consistent. And if you're not consistent, then the algorithm's just going to go, well, you don't care. No one cares about you. So you have to be consistent. So with my Instagram, I just do 3 posts a week on my feed, because that's what I can keep up with. And, you know, I'm a bit kind of bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my grid. I'm just trying to change it around now. But then I will just post stories ad hoc when I want to. And I find that works for me, that I can just post stories when I want, but my grid is 3 days a week, and I set that out.
Yeah, we do say you do not have to post every single day. People make that mistake. They think I've got to post every day, and you do not.
Yeah, I finally did an article on my LinkedIn, 2 articles actually. So I finally did an article, and I linked it to my website. And then obviously I could use parts of that and link it to my Facebook. And so I've taken that on board, that you can write something quite large and then use snippets of it elsewhere. So that was a really useful tip. I would never have thought about that ever before. And just be when your people are on. Be where your people are. It's really simple, but when you don't do the training, or you're not told that, it doesn't really connect with what you're doing. You're just posting because you're posting. And then obviously the insights, I'm not amazing with insights, but at least I know where to go and have a look and go, oh, that didn't do very well, or that time didn't do very well. At least I know that now. So I think if you don't do the learning, and you don't have people that can help you in a community, then I would have just been stuck in the same place. I probably wouldn't have been very happy. I probably would have been one of those people in lockdown that's going, oh my God, I've got no one to talk to. I haven't seen anybody. But, you know, the Pixie community, you always feel like there's somebody there. And it can either be you're on a Zoom call with somebody, or you're on the phone with someone, you know, because I chat to Pixies. And then I've also been talking to Pixies so that we can, you know, come together and do something together. So obviously Yvonne, that I met when we were doing the testimonials, you know, we were talking about the hotel. Hopefully you can get out there and do the yoga out there with Yvonne
in Jamaica.
Yeah. And also with Flora, with her cooking, because she was amazing doing her cooking online and doing her sushi. So we've had conversations about, you know, going down and doing a weekend retreat at her place as well. So there's lots of ways that you can, not only the technical stuff that you can pick up from people, but, you know, the networking as well. And you can just see things that will fit together. And there's so many talented women on this course that I would never have met before, that, you know, you just feel like you have a whole different family. You know, and people are always saying to me, oh, how's that Pixie thing going? You know, I see you doing your Pixie thing. What is your Pixie thing? I said, look, you need to get on that course. And I have had friends come on actually and do the free boot camp as well. So I think it's a very positive thing that I did, a massively positive thing. Yeah.
No, and I think that point is really important. The fact that if you don't change something, nothing changes. And, you know, I think the very first step is to say, okay, I want something to change. The next step is to educate yourself, and then decide, you know, if it's the right change for you. You know, a whole point of doing our superhero boot camp is really to say, am I interested in social media? You know, is it something that I want to pursue? And sometimes people finish it and they go, okay, I know a lot more than I knew before, but this isn't really for me. And some people are like, heck yeah, this is for me. You know, where do I sign up? I mean, it's the funny thing. We've already had a few emails where people are like, where do I sign up? It's like, you can't sign up yet, you know, just calm down. Yeah. But it is good to know that you know, people are seriously considering, you know, investing in their future. And what I know is rarely, if ever, have I met someone who's invested in their future that's regretted it, who's taken the step. The only time that people regret it is when what they bought wasn't what was on the box. It's where they say, okay, I signed up for something, but then I didn't actually get what I was told that I was going to get. And so, we work really hard to over deliver to make sure that people get what we say they're going to get. And you get 2 weeks to try it out before you make a decision, a definitive decision. So we also don't want you to make a huge decision like that without testing it out and making sure that, it really is the right community and really is the right vibe for you. I wanted to bring you on to the podcast again, because I thought, when we interviewed you the first time, it was really more about the challenges that you had to overcome as a single mom with a child that had some, challenges growing up. And that was a wonderful story. And that gave a lot of inspiration to a lot of women who know what it's like to be in the same shoes that you are also in, as a mother who's got, hasn't had the easiest path as a mother. But I wanted to do another follow-up interview with you so that we could just see how you were doing and get a little bit more into the membership and, the fact that it's been now running for 3 months. You have repeat customers, they're coming back. And it's so important for people to see that story that, here's the struggle, and here's the reality, and here's how you got through that story, how you got through that, how you overcame your fears, how you launched this membership, and how you take care of the people in it, and how they keep coming back for more. So, it's a very exciting conversation to be having. So tell me now, when you think, 10 years forwards and you meet your future self, what is she telling you? What do you see?
She's probably telling me, what took you so long? Why didn't you just start before? Because it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be. And, you're quite capable of doing what you think you can. Because we could keep saying they're obstacles, but actually they're just challenges to see whether you really want it enough. They're not there to stop you. They're there to see whether you can get over them and around them or under them. And a lot of the time I can, but usually my obstacles are more, about personal life. And then I think that's what stops me building a kind of I'm more putting my business head on, because I've never thought myself as, like a businesswoman. I'm kind of I'm very creative, but it's just putting that creativity onto paper and then putting it into something that is going to be financially successful. I think that's the hardest. That's been the hardest bit for me. So this is kind of that little journey on the way to bring the creativity, what's in here, onto kind of paper or onto keyboard, and just pushing it forward. And, it can be a slow process, and it can be a tough process, because I still go, oh my God, I don't understand that. What did I just do? As I just, it got to PayPal and I was like, I don't understand coding. I don't know what it means by a sandbox. I just don't know. So then I just put that to the side and I went for something else, which works for me, because
you set up a website on Square, didn't you? And then you set up a membership through Square.
Yeah, that was even by accident, because I had gone to MailChimp and I thought, right, let's do this MailChimp thing. Because even that, I was like, I don't understand MailChimp. So I managed to set up a landing page on MailChimp, and then it said, oh, connect to your Square. And I was like, what is Square? So then I went and looked at that, and then I ended up buying a website on Square, which was very cheap. I bought the cheapest version, but I've done a page. It's got my, it's got a second page on it. It's got all the things I need on it. You've read it a million times and told me, move this around, do that. So it all helped. And I'm quite happy with it, because I've done it myself. And I've got a lot of friends that are saying, oh, I've just paid someone £600 to do this website, and now I've got to pay £50 for him to change a paragraph. And I'm thinking, you need to actually get on TechPixies and learn the WordPress.
No, but that's the crazy thing, is what I see happen all the time is we teach the social media, the foundations of social media, plus the foundations of WordPress and MailChimp. We teach the foundations. But what happens is the confidence from learning 6 or 7 different pieces of technology in a short period of time, completely removes the barrier of learning another piece of technology. There is no barrier. You've just learned 5 social media networks, 2 additional pieces of software. You've just learned 7 pieces of software. An 8th piece of software does not daunt you. A 9th piece of software does not daunt you. And that is so, so, so true. And that's where the breakthroughs happen, because a long time ago, we stopped teaching, the website course, because really we found people didn't need it. Once they had the confidence with the other skills, they could just work it out. They could figure it out. And obviously we have the WordPress bonus, which helps understand how to use WordPress from a marketing perspective, because a lot of people don't understand that. And, making sure that your pages from your website look good on social media, all that good stuff. But Michelle has a great comment here on what you had to say. She says, she loved that what you said about challenges. Challenges are there to see if you want it enough. They're not there as obstacles to stop you. And I loved that, what you had to say as well.
It's more of a hurdle, isn't it? It's more of a hurdle. So if you think of a hurdler and they're looking down that track, they got to get over those 10 hurdles. And I would just look at it and go, oh, well, I'd have to crawl underneath, but at least I'd get through it.
Yeah.
And if you've got to crawl underneath. If you've got to go around it, circumvent it and go back to it, do that. But just know that you're going to get to the end line. It's just how badly do you want to get to that end line? And if you're an athlete, that's all you look at. You don't look at the actual hurdle. You're just looking at the finish line. And sometimes we forget that there's a finish line.
Well, and I think, I heard once someone say, and I think it was probably a book like Into the Void or something like that, but it was the idea that if there are no obstacles, there is no mountain to climb, right? And if anyone who's ever climbed a mountain knows, when you get to the top of the mountain, you get this glorious view. And you don't get the glorious view if you don't overcome the obstacles along the way, because that's what makes the mountain, right? And, there's a reason that very few people get to the mountain, because it's hard. But if you can persevere and get to the top of the mountain, the view from the top is always worth it. Yeah. So, I think you have climbed a mountain this last year that has been unbelievable. And I'm so proud of you. And I wanted to share your story. So thank you very much for your time today. And thank you for sharing that story and all the hurdles that you crawled over, under, left around, knocked over to get to the finish line.
I zoomed over.
Yeah. And now, it's just about raising the bar, right? Now it's about, so, all right. So now I've got the goal that I set, which is amazing. Let's set a new one and let's, see what we can do there. And I think that combination of, figuring out a sales funnel and getting ads running to that sales funnel, that's where your growth in your business is going to come. But you never could have got there if you hadn't done the foundational work. And I think that's so, so, so important. And also have the community and the coaching to support you to get you there. Yeah.
And you, Joy, obviously, because you're my nudger. You're my inbox nudger who you're like my little voice that's going, have you done this? Why have you not? So I'm going, yes, I know, I should, yes.
I only pick on people. I only pick on people who I know want to accomplish something. If someone says this is what I want, I'm gonna bug you till I see you get it. So
I do really appreciate it, and I love that you're in the group, and I love seeing you do I absolutely love that video that you posted of you doing your bit, because I could see you were really enjoying it. So.
Yeah, well, it did get me moving, put me in a good mood.
Yeah.
And we're so, so glad that you are in our program and that you took time out of your day today. Michelle says, thank you both. So thank you, Michelle, for listening and watching. And I can't wait to, catch up with you again when your membership has surpassed 100 members, and we'll be talking about what that's like.
Yes, that'd be fabulous, wouldn't it? Come join.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gloria.
You're welcome, Joy. Have a great day.